Hey, tribe, how you doing? How you doing today? It is Tuesday, August 13th, 2024, and it is time once again to feed your prediction addiction. As we experience these intense energies flowing in, the Mercury retrograde, all on the edge of the tsunami wave energy shift, the second one of 2024, flowing in on August 19th. And we have a final energy shift that's going to make the year 2024 go out with a bang in December, starting off in November right after the elections. No doubt, intense times are upon us, but also amazing times too, because we're going to witness a time where people are forced to go back to the natural ways. Growing our own food, coming together in community, amazing innovations and technologies and new levels of healing unlike anything we've ever would have imagined. These breakthroughs are happening all over the planet right now, with even bigger breakthroughs coming. So a radical disorder is upon us at the same time, friends. A very radical disorder. And this radical disorder is going to be interesting to say the least. So what exactly does that mean? Well, I'm going to explain all that today, of course. We have witnessed several predictions flowing into fruition over the past week, starting with the huge outage that I called for the platform X. Remember, Spirit told us that there was going to be an attempt by hackers to specifically take down platform X. And apparently, that's exactly what happened. Or at least that's what Elon Musk is claiming happened. And this all happened when they were about to go live on a live stream interview with Elon Musk and Donald Trump. No coincidences there, would you say? I don't believe in coincidences. How about you? Are they still out of danger now? Are they out of danger? Is this the only hack that's going to happen with the platform X? And I will definitely back Musk in saying, yeah, it was a cyber attack, because Spirit told us exactly that was going to happen, exactly as it played out. Just left out the whole Trump part. It's the only thing Spirit left out of the details. So also we have my visions and warning of an explosion happening at a port. And this played out last week in China. And the ship in which this container exploded, of course, they're saying was Taiwanese, which it probably was, but we'll never really know the truth. At least that's what China's telling us. Is this going to heat up the relationship now between the two countries, Taiwan and China? And what about the future port explosions and incidents that I saw in visions? I have a lot more predictions for you today, especially revolved around ports, something that you're definitely going to want to hear no matter where in the world you may be tuning in from. We also witnessed my scary vision of a plane falling out of the air, which at the time when I saw it and told you all, it probably sounded as crazy as it looked to me in my vision. It's just something you don't see, just planes dropping out of the sky like that. Well, that actually sadly came into a reality in Brazil last week. So much happening around airlines and airplanes, just like Spirit told us was going to happen. And now we're once again in that accident-prone type of energy. So what does that mean? Well, obviously it means there's going to be a lot more accidents, not just in the skies or on the runways, also on the roads and anything, even home accidents. It's one of the things that people don't realize, that a large percentage of incidents and accidents actually happen in people's homes. Whether it's cutting yourself with a knife or actually most commonly, I know a trauma surgeon, and I was surprised when I thought, that maybe most of his trauma surgeries were accident related from motor vehicle or whatever. And he said it's actually people falling off ladders and roofs. Number one thing that comes into the emergency room trauma center. I wouldn't have thought that, but yeah, that's what he said. People falling off ladders and falling off roofs is the number one thing that ends them in trauma surgery. Quite interesting, and we're in that energy, so you must be extremely mindful of what you're doing and where you're doing it at. And what else could we actually see playing out in the skies in the near future? I got lots of new predictions revolved around that as well. Earthquake activity was up, but then it's back down again. Very weird, very strange. It went up a little bit last week and it went right back down over the past few days. But Spirit said it was going to go up. Is there another big uptick coming? Absolutely. And there's a great shaking coming. We just saw this happen, and Spirit pointed to the southern tip of Japan. And that's where they just had a major, pretty significant earthquake. I wouldn't say necessarily major, but definitely significant. I mean, it brought some things down to the ground and also caused tsunami sirens to sound. No tsunamis, thankfully. But is there a tsunami heading towards Japan? Absolutely, friends. Absolutely, our friends in Japan need to be aware it's coming. I'll give you more details about that today. And I did already give details in that in my weather prediction video. So if you want to know more about the weather around the world, then you got to check out that video that I did a few weeks ago on weather. I did one earlier this year in, I think, February, early March. So you can go back and check that one out as well. Lots of that stuff from February, March video already came into fruition. Not only did we see Japan having a great shaking, we also seen several shakeups in Los Angeles. And I know California and earthquakes is common. But when the media is talking about it and making a big deal out of it, then it can't be that common because there were 4 pretty significant quakes in Los Angeles over the past few days, over the past week. Another place that Spirit warned. Big time, Los Angeles. Remember, a great shaking would come to Los Angeles. That wasn't quite a great shaking, 4.4, I think it was. It shook enough, but is there a greater shaking coming? Absolutely, and I'm going to tell you when I believe that is. Not only did we see this in California, Russia also had a big earthquake. While at the same time, and we did warn Russia of a big earthquake, at the same time, scenes coming out of China right now, a country that, again, Spirit continuously warned that they were going to be getting major karma waves hitting China. And the scenes coming out of China right now are somewhat apocalyptic proportion, for sure. I'll show you some of that today. But major stuff happening there. Oklahoma City, a city that we warned that a big event was coming. It wasn't quite a big event, but they are definitely dealing with severe flooding in Oklahoma, as well as so many other places, friends. San Diego, California, South Carolina, upstate New York, another place we warned, East Africa, South Africa, and the list just goes on and on. And if you recall, Spirit pointed to this period, the cycle time that we are in right now, and also told us to expect floods and major earth events in August. And we're in that window. And we're heading into an even more significant window of time within the next week. I'll let you know about that today. So much happening in the way of weather. It's quite interesting. And it's only just the beginning because the fall months are going to be intense. Severe weather and earth events. So what's next? Tropical storm warnings were just issued for Puerto Rico. Another place we warned was Puerto Rico. And remember, my prediction around Puerto Rico was that a hurricane hits Puerto Rico, and then Trump decides he wants to go there to play hero, and that's when they try to take his plane down over the Caribbean. So let's hope this doesn't come into fruition, and that feeling, and that attempt to take his plane down. Because that's my feeling. We just saw his plane make an emergency landing a few days ago. We are in retrograde, so technical issues do occur. I mean, it's a given, friends. It's a given. Although Spirit did say sabotage around his plane. So going back to the whole weather thing and all these events that are taking place and the warnings, we got Puerto Rico. I have put together also today, aside from weather, some of my past predictions and visions revolved around future fear attacks in the United States, Paris, and other places, around specifically concerts in stadiums or arenas, along with one of my close friends had this dream. And we talked about these dreams before and how these dreams give us clues to future events. So we would call them definitely prophetic dreams, which he'll call me. I'm pretty good at interpreting those dreams and then putting those dreams alongside with some of my visions. So remember warnings too around. So I have a potential target, and that target is in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. My hometown. Well, sort of my hometown. I'm from Bucks County, Pennsylvania, but close enough. So if you're in Philadelphia, you're definitely going to want to hear this. And if you're attending any concerts in the near future, you're definitely going to want to hear this too, because remember, I warned also around Taylor Swift concerts. Someone put the comment in my comments, and I couldn't find the footage. I didn't have time to look for the footage. You gave me timestamps in my comments. Thank you for that. Timestamps to where I said, Houston was going to be flooded. Then it happened. What was the other one you said? Oh, the earthquake in, what country was that? Costa Rica, which happened. And they told me about the Taylor Swift one, but they didn't leave a timestamp for that one. So I couldn't find that one. But I warned about Taylor Swift concerts, and now she canceled many shows due to the threat of fear attacks. We use the word fear attack instead of the other word because, algorithms don't like certain words. That one's one. I don't really like that word either, so I'm right there alongside with the algorithms. So sadly, this is an issue that we got to really look closely to, for it is inevitable, friends, that at some point, and at this point, attacks are coming. Attacks are coming, definitely, including Russia, which we know Russia's about to get hit really hard with some major stuff, as they are getting hit right now. So I'm going to share in detail with you that dream, my visions, and the place in Philadelphia I think could be a really potential target. And just it's too odd that makes me feel like it could very well be. And I hope I'm wrong. If I'm right, I expect somebody to come knocking on my door from the feds afterwards. But we're going to talk about that. I'm going to share the details and why I believe also October 2nd could be a huge date that goes down in history. Along with why I also feel the Christmas holidays and the celebration of Jesus this year is another window of craziness that's going to occur. This and so much more with a whole bunch of new predictions today on this episode number 130 of Tuesday's Prediction Update. And beautiful tribe, y'all know what time it is.
It's Teatime, baby!
Beautiful souls, beautiful tribe. Once again, I hope that you're having a beautiful day today, even though we are flowing, hopefully like a good surfer. I know I'm surfing these waves really well, but like I told you, you got to get your surfboard ready, man. This is a tsunami wave of energy heading our way. These waves are just the small ones before the big one comes on the 19th or a few days before the 19th. I want to welcome you to my channel, back to my channel. My name is Joseph Tittel, aka Spiritman JT. If you haven't gathered that already, spiritual medium. You can find more information out about me and my work at my website, josephtittel, Tittel.com, or spiritmanjt.com. All the information, please don't email my office asking for dates. Everything is listed on the website. You can schedule directly on the website. Unless you're looking for something in person in Sedona, that's a different story, but the information, again, is on my website. Also, as far as emails, please, if you have information about events that happen or anything like that, please leave it below in the comments. Please don't use my office email to send links and other stuff that isn't going to go nowhere. If you leave it in the comments on YouTube, I'm going to see it and I'm going to look at it. And that's where it is. Anywhere else, if it's in our email, it's just going to get deleted if it's not business. So please leave the comments down below. I am drowning in emails and still trying to catch up on emails. So I'm a one-man team running 2 different shows. It's a little challenging at times, but a lot of fun. I got to say, a lot of fun. Also, beware of scammers. There's a lot of them. Usually always on Facebook and Instagram, but now TikTok's following along with it too, with people creating fake profiles with me, my pictures that they steal from my real profiles, and then sending you private messages through social media platforms, claiming to be me and claiming to want to give you a reading, trying to extort money and gift cards from you. That is not me. And I say it all the time, and it's another thing I get emails for constantly, because this happens constantly, every day. It's an ongoing thing. Facebook and Instagram does absolutely nothing about it. They don't care. TikTok, it just started on there, so I don't know if they're doing anything about it. But just report the profiles. Report them right away. You don't have to let me know again, because I know it happens constantly. And when you report it, I'll get an email saying that this profile was reported. So I appreciate that, because I got a flow of those in last week too. So I appreciate all those that reported those profiles. But again, you will never hear from me personally on social media platforms. Ever. Never, ever, ever. The only way you'll hear from me is directly from my office and my website, spiritmanjt.com. Down below in the description, you will find the link to my newsletter. It is free. If it's free, it's for me. So sign up. Every month you'll get all the numerology, the astrology, all the content that I put out so you don't miss anything. upcoming classes, sometimes special offers on readings, and so forth. I am booked pretty far out right now. Probably at least 6 weeks, I would imagine. So patience is a virtue, like they say. Also down below, you'll find the link to the Subscribe Star Awaken Your Spirit community, my Spotify, Rumble. You can find me there. Episode 128 a few weeks ago was blocked on YouTube. You can find that on Spotify, and you can find it on Rumble. Please get on over to Rumble and follow me over there. Again, Joseph Tittel, pretty simple to find me on there. Give me a follow, because you never know. If I'm not here, I'm there. And if I'm not there, I'm there. So you got to check out all platforms. Follow me on Spotify. Spotify, I upload all the Teatime episodes and the monthly forecast and predictions. Rumble, I try to put everything that's on YouTube on Rumble as well when I get a chance. I try to do it as much as I can and as fast as I can. Other than that, friends, shall we move on and have some tea together for this episode number 130
Of Tea Time, baby.
A radical disorder is upon us, my beautiful friends, my beautiful tribe. A radical disorder. A radical disorder of humanity as we witness these current systems that we have thrived and lived by continue to begin to crash. One system after another, they're all slowly crashing. And I said this was going to happen way back in 2009, 2010. Now it's all happening exactly as Spirit played out. Actually, I knew about the system crashes since I was in my late teens, just waiting for that time when all prophecies would come into fruition. Well, that time again has arrived. Prophecies, whether they be from Book of Revelation, Baba Vanga, Edgar Casey, Nostradamus, and the list goes on and on. We're in those times for sure, friends. Which is scary to some, but really exciting to the rest, because it is. People are going to be losing their minds, unfortunately, while struggling to make ends meet, as the rest of the world is going to be on the edge of this great conflict that's coming. It's inevitable. Again, it's in all the prophecies. It is also a radical disorder that must happen. In order, like, it's one of them things that just has to happen, friends. A little bit of a radical disorder before the new world is put into place. The new earth, the new world. Now, there's two different sides of the coin. There's the new world, the one that the global elite want. And then there's the new earth, the one that the divine creator wants. When we ascend to a higher dimension, higher frequencies and dimensions. From the 3D to the 5D, as they say. It's going to be quite interesting. I actually had someone say to me last week, I thought it was going to happen today. I'm like, what would make you think that? Nobody knows the time or the day, and it's not all going to happen in one day. It is a slow process of us evolving and these old systems crashing completely. And that's where the radical global disorder is going to come into play. So much on the earth is going to happen before this earth becomes a much merrier place for all of us to reside together in complete harmony, which we will. I know it's hard to imagine such now, but it's definitely going to happen. And it is the destruction of these old systems, the systems people have come to depend on greatly, that is the scariest part for most people as well. Mainly because they do not prepare. Or even more so because they have become dependent on this failing system. Extremely dependent. As challenging and perhaps as scary as it may be to many, as this all may sound, at the same time, this is going to pave the road for an amazing future that lies ahead for all of us. The new earth, as we've all been talking about. I've been talking about it since I've been doing the predictions, actually. A long time ago. Over 20 years, I don't even know how long, but it's been a long time. Very, very long time. So no one is guaranteeing us that it's going to be easy. No one, when we signed up to come into this lifetime, we were never told it was going to be easy. Now, I believe things can be easier, and people make things a lot more challenging or harder than they should. I don't like the word hard either, because when you say that's going to be hard, you're already copping out on it. Instead, say it's going to be a challenge, but I'm always up for a challenge now, aren't I? So these times are going to be challenging. It's only going to be hard, again, if you make it harder than it needs to be. And know that these failing systems you can no longer be dependent on. And it's just the way it is. The amazing future does lie ahead of us. through all these challenges. We will be the phoenix that rise out of the ashes, no doubt about it. And no one, again, is guaranteed that this is going to be an easy path. But it's, again, also easier if we're prepared. Prepared along with knowing the potential futures that sit on our doorsteps, which is what we do every week, and sometimes multiple times a week. Spirit giving us preparation of events that are going to happen. And yes, some of these events sound crazy, apocalyptic, or scary to some, but that is part of the process. And knowing that it's going to happen or potentially is going to happen will help us prepare both energetically, emotionally, and physically when need be by stocking up or, having an escape plan or whatever it needs to be wherever you may be. Remember, it's also the wrath of Mother Earth. When she starts to shift and a great rift happens beneath the Indian and Pacific Oceans, that is going to open up and change everything with the Earth. Everything will change geographically. I've done videos on it. What was the last one I did? Also, the video I did on what's coming Friday, April 13th, Friday the 13th, 2029, when we see the comet Apophis go through our skies, followed by the planet Nibiru. They're not telling you that part. That's the part that's going to really blow people's minds. It'll be amazing. It'll be something, again, we're here to witness. It's an amazing time to be alive. Again, as challenging as it may be or appear, it really is an amazing time to be alive. So much amazing things. And as you know, we've been in this, Mercury direct retrograde in Virgo for the past week. And tomorrow, not only does Mercury move back, which is really odd for it to move back into Leo. It started in the pre-shadow with Leo, went into Virgo, now back to Leo, and that's very strange. Don't recall seeing that happen, or at least not very often. We also have Mars in Gemini conjunction Jupiter Gemini coming up on, the 14th? 14th, I believe it is, within the next day or two. And that's going to be intense. I'm pretty sure it's tomorrow, actually, the 14th. That's going to have us, it's again, this whole alignment, the whole Gemini conjunct Jupiter and Mars, Gemini, all that happening is positive. Even though Mars is a planet of war, look at this on a personal level. When we know about certain alignments and certain energies, we can benefit from it. Take advantage of it. Like the Mercury retrograde we're in and all the other energies of August is all about decluttering, getting rid of things, clearing things out. Shifting your beliefs with the 7 vibration that we're in this month, which I come to think of it, we haven't seen any real UFO stuff yet. I expect that to happen this month because we're in that 7 vibration like we were last year. The whole year was a 7. Look at all the alien landings, alleged alien landings that happened last year. So this time that we're going into tomorrow is a perfect time on a personal level to revisit your creative projects. Revisit creative projects along with rethinking how you express yourself. It's a time, again, to declutter, get rid of things, reorganize. Perfect timing with the retrograde energy, along with expressing how, again, rethinking how you express yourself. You're going to notice that, especially, look at yourself mirror to mirror. Take a look. You're going to notice things about yourself that you didn't notice before. It's going to be interesting. It's also a time for us to take some bold actions. Bold actions and pursue our goals with enthusiasm and optimism. This is the time, friends, especially when we step into the 14th and 15th tomorrow and on Thursday. Keep forgetting today's Tuesday, not Monday. Feels like Monday. I don't know why. This time also is going to pique people's curiosity. So what happens when people's curiosity gets piqued? Curiosity killed the cat. They start looking at and questioning everything. So that's another thing that's going to happen with this conjunct with the Mars and Jupiter Gemini. That's going to be having everybody questioning everything, as we should be doing anyway. On Monday, August 19th, we have the full moon rising in Aquarius, along with the second tsunami wave of energy, that energy shift of 2024 washing over our shores. Like I said, wax that surfboard, get ready for the waves, friends. We are heading right into that window of time that Spirit pointed to, August 17th through the 22nd. The full moon in Aquarius is all about innovation, community, and freedom. So therefore, we're going to see our freedoms being questioned during that time period and coming up. It's also bound to bring our freedoms to the forefront as we continue to battle for our freedoms, to keep our freedoms. Remember, Monday's full moon, next Monday is the full moon. That full moon can assist us in breaking old patterns, habits, and even addictions. So say you want to quit smoking, for example. The full moon and the retrograde energy shift is literally the best time ever, in my opinion, to do so. I actually finally quit smoking, 5-6 years ago, cigarette tobacco successfully during an exact type of cycle. Energy shift, Mercury retrograde, and I think we were also in the 9 vibration that month too. All about endings, and that made it very, very successful. Using different timelines to your advantage are great. Remember, full moons are all about clearing things, all about putting the intentions out there, what we want to let go of physically, energetically, and emotionally. So the full moon energy shift retrograde is going to be intense. And remember to also use that time, again, to clear up clutter and reorganize. Speaking of cluttering things, well, not that this has anything to do with clutter. Let me get my tea over here. It's getting cold. Outages. Outages is a big thing that we talked about. I talked about it in my August forecast and predictions. And I even told you that X platform was going to be hacked by cyber attackers. Spirit said they were going to, and it was going to come from within the United States. I forgot about that. Spirit said it was going to come from within the United States. Interesting. I forgot about that part. Yum tea. So we are in the heart of the Mercury retrograde, as you know, and also you should know by now that it is inevitable for there to be outages and other issues with electronics, communications, motorized things, your car, what have you. So Spirit told us not long ago that there was going to be an outage around the Big X platform. But also Spirit said that it was going to be hackers trying to take down the platform on purpose, of course, for whatever reasons. And now, as you know, this did happen yesterday. And to make matters even more interesting, this happened right as they were trying to do a live interview with Trump, Elon Musk interviewing Donald Trump. So Elon Musk says it was a hack attack, cyber attack. Sometimes I wonder if I believe that or not, even though I have to, because Spirit said that was going to happen. So we got to go with what Spirit said. If Spirit didn't tell us that, I wouldn't believe it. I'd be like, you just were having technical issues and don't want to admit that you screwed up. But no, I guess it was an actual hack attack. Trump's X interview live stream goes down. Musk blames massive cyber attack. Elon Musk live streamed interviewed the former president. And that's the other thing. If you listen to the interview, people, of course, pick everything apart and say, what did they say? He's got a slur. He's getting old. It has to do with his age, like Biden. And no. Actually, if you listen to it, I only listened to part of it. And if you know anybody that wears partials or false teeth or partials, and they take them out and talk, that's exactly what they sound like. So Trump needed to put in his partial when he was talking. You can tell he didn't have it. He has this slur. A lisp, not a slur, a lisp. They called it a slur. It wasn't a slur. It's a lisp. And that's what happens when you don't have your partials in. Just saying. I don't have them. Thank goodness for that. I got all my teeth still. Knock on wood. No, knock on wood. But that's what was happening. So there appears to be a massive DDoS attack on X, Musk said in a post on social media network referring to a distributed denial of service attack, in which massive amounts of internet traffic are directed at websites and services, causing them to go offline. Oh, interesting. The interview proceeded around 40 minutes later with a smaller number of listeners. Now, I heard somewhere today that got 1 billion listens. I don't believe that. Sorry, I just don't believe that. And again, it's his platform, Musk's, and he can make it look like it got 1 billion if he wants to make it look like it's got 1 billion. Let's face it, he could do it. It's his platform. He can make it look like anything. 1 billion in one day, I'm sorry, I don't believe it. Maybe 10 or 20, 30 million, I believe, but no, not a billion in a day. And if they really are saying that, I don't believe it for the best. It's like in the interview, Trump said there was tens of thousands of people in Pennsylvania before that attempt. There were a couple thousand people. There were not tens of thousands of people there. There just wasn't. Tens of thousands of people wouldn't fit there. It's just funny how all politicians exaggerate like crazy. Just like the Biden administration tells you that the economy is good. I don't know. Maybe if you're smoking crack it is, but no, it's not good. And then that's what's happening over there on the platform. Spirit, again, told us X would be a huge cyber target in the near future. Whether this really was an attack or is a whole other ball game, regardless, true cyber attacks are coming to the X platform. This is more plausible now, of course, than it was before that Musk brought Donald Trump back to the platform. And then all of a sudden this all happened. It makes it very, very, very plausible. They initially banned him, remember, back in 2021. Can you say hypocrite? Hypocrites. Musk. Just saying. And people still do believe that Musk is, signed up for the white hat group or is on the good side. And I'm just going to continue to remind you that Musk is one, if not the biggest government contracting company, assisting in satellite surveillance, the whole bunch of shady stuff like chips in the brain. Yeah, that doesn't vibrate on a very positive frequency, friends. Not at all. Just saying. Also, I remind you that Musk wants to turn X into a banking system. Are you aware of that? He wants to turn the whole thing into a banking system, like the creation of PayPal. Remember, he's one of the creators of PayPal, a platform that monitors and tracks everything within your personal finances right on his own platform. Again, this to me does not at all vibrate on a positive frequency. Just saying. So the X outage is small in comparison to the potential outages coming in the near future, including a point in the next 2 years where many people are going to lose power globally, some for 3 to 5 days, while others remain in the dark for longer periods of time, like what I warned for Puerto Rico, and they already have a weak grid to begin with. Remember the last hurricane they had years ago, they had no power, some of them for a year or longer. Crazy. More so in Europe and the Middle East is where I see major outages happening, and I see huge cyber attacks coming against Israel, United States, and parts of Europe. I see outages, as I warned before, around ATM machines and a hack against some of the smaller banks, which makes me feel like it's probably the bigger banks that are purposely hacking the smaller banks, and more banks closing their doors. So remember to always have a good amount of cash on hand, friends. Have cash on hand hidden away somewhere, buried in the yard or whatever you need to do. What happens if you lose power, right? For, say, a week, and you have no cash at all, and you're almost out of gasoline, and you need to get from point A to point B, or you need some food, or you need some water. And that's if you can even find a local store that would even be open, because a lot of them ain't going to open at all unless you find a little mom and pop store. And if you can, you're going to have cash, because it's the only thing they're going to take. Cash on hand, and supplies that are going to last you for a while is important to have right now. Just look at the state of the world, friends. This isn't fear. This isn't paranoia. Any of that. I mean, for some people it is. Like I have some people I know that are just a little overboard. But maybe it's not overboard, because if something happens, they're going to be the ones laughing in the corner, right? That's why I prep. That's why I'm prepping. Just better be safe than sorry. I have friends that don't. And they're like, you really think you need all that survival food? I'm like, well, whether I do or don't, I have it. So if I do need it, at least I won't regret it. I'd rather have it than not have it. Especially where I live, I said, if there's an earthquake here and the bridge down towards Sedona is washed out and then there's a mudslide up the road, I could be stuck here for a month. It could happen. It happened for a week before. What was it, last year, year before? With all the storms, we had mudslides on both sides. Couldn't get out. I mean, you could drive down the road, but you couldn't go very far. So it's always good to be prepped no matter what. I see a cyber attack happening against the Pentagon. Of course, they're not going to admit of such attacks until they have no other choice but to give Americans an explanation. I also see some type of hack attack around the court systems and the Supreme Court justices. Perhaps even a personal hack attack on justices' emails. Not sure if this is related to the outages or what exactly, But I had a vision. I was standing at Times Square, New York City. And it was almost dark, so say dusk, as I watched the hustle and bustle of Times Square, and then suddenly everything gets dark. The people literally freeze in the streets. Complete silence followed by sounds of screams and panic. But I saw nothing but darkness. So I'm not sure how to interpret this other than some type of huge outage hitting New York City and Times Square specifically. But what really got me about that vision was the hurling screams that I heard off in the distance as I'm standing in the dark Times Square. And everybody just freezes like, whoa, I can't see where I'm going. And they all just kind of freeze. It looked really weird. And then I just heard panic in the distance, though. It wasn't in Times Square. It was like off a little bit where I heard these hurling screams. So I don't know what that's all about, friends, but it didn't look very good. Didn't feel very good. And we've been warning New York City for quite some time. New York City will be another highlight when it comes to fear attacks in the future. Kind of like what happened in 2001, but on a totally different level. Let's move on to port dangers and the ports around the globe and how important it is, because without the ports, you don't get imports. And in places like the United States, everything's imported. Everything mainly comes from China because we sold out to all the other countries and we don't make any of our own stuff anymore, which is just absolutely ridiculous. What is going on with my computer over here? It should be no surprise to you at all when I tell you that ports around the globe are at a grave risk right now. And I've had multiple visions and predictions revolved around ports. One of those visions became a reality just last week when a large explosion rocked China's port. Huge explosion. An explosion upon which we are being told was a Taiwanese ship. It also said that the ship containers that ship had high risk. It was a high risk load, I guess you would say, which is maybe obvious now. Or could this also be just a little trick? Does this make the relationship between Taiwan and China more tense? Likely not. Maybe at first, but likely not now, because China is already targeting Taiwan, even though some people don't agree. I even have a friend that don't agree. He says, no, they already have a relationship with each other. They have a relationship, but they don't rule. They want to rule it. It's all about those chips, friends. Those little digital, those little chips for computers. That's what it's all about. Taking control of it because they can't control it. They can't take over. So ports are vulnerable around the globe is what Spirit tells me. And China watches closely and is planning strategic agendas against ports in an event of a future conflict. So any conflict with China, any country, the first thing you're going to see China do is take out their ports. One of the first places China and even Iran will attack are the ports, of course. Both Iran too. Cutting off ports cuts off supplies to a nation. And again, this is perhaps one of many reasons Spirit has been urging all of us to prepare and to stock up. Especially, there's a lot of talk about civil war in the United States. And that is extremely plausible because we have the same astrological alignments that have been occurring this year, even starting last year, and moving into 2025 that all aligned during the last civil war in the United States and aligning with the signing of the Constitution. So, yeah, something definitely is about to change. There ain't no doubt about it. The stars even say so. So in my past predictions, I stated that there would be attacks on ports, attacks that would somehow be activated from right within the ports themselves. Shipping containers that literally contain large explosives. And that's what I thought when I first saw the explosion in China. I was like, oh, is that what that is? But no, I believe it was just an incident, accident, or whatever you want to refer to it. Again, Mercury retrograde can have those effects too. So I'm not really concerned as concerning as it seemed at first. But Spirit shows me containers like loaded with explosives. I mean, loaded. I can't imagine what kind of a blast a container would have if it was loaded. Not only that, I saw shipping containers that contained weapons, or that were weapons actually. Literally was a weapon. Literally, the shipping container opens up as a missile launcher. So basically, they could ship the missile launcher right into the shipping port, activate it remotely, and shoot missiles right into the country, right from their own coastline, without sending ships or submarines to the coastlines. So that's what Spirit was showing me. They have these technologies, 100%. That's kind of creepy to me. And they will be remotely activated from ports. I don't know where or when. I'd say probably when we move into 2025. That's when you're going to see how vulnerable these ports are and how important our globe, all of them are across the globe. So speaking of ports and such, I see major issues, as I previously predicted, revolved around the Panama Canal. It feels to me like some movement at the canal comes to a complete stop. So, all the ships are moving through, and all of a sudden I just feel like everything comes to a stop, almost like 2020 lockdown. Not that it's related, but it was almost like that. Everything came to a complete stop. That's what it feels like to the Panama Canal to me. And I feel like some type of nearby conflict is followed by assistance that comes in from other countries like United States. So I don't know what's going on down there in Panama, but it don't look very good. And Spirit said nearby conflict, so I'm not sure how close by, but if it shuts down the canal, it must be pretty close. I also see another port, actually at least two, being heavily damaged by a combination of severe storms and from an earthquake shutting down two global ports between now and early 2025. So we're going to see at least, again, two ports that are shut down completely due to circumstances revolved around weather and revolved around an earthquake. So an earthquake is going to cause the cranes to topple along the coastline. This might even be maybe actually along the coastline of Japan, actually, before tsunami waves come rolling in. Also, Spirit showed me a vision literally 10 minutes ago when I took a quick break. I got up to grab my tea or whatever I got up for. I got up to do something. I can't remember now. But I got up to do something, and I had a vision of a ship. It wasn't even really, I wouldn't even say a ship. It was more like a boat, a big boat, jetting towards a port at full speed. But this boat's loaded with explosive boom booms. Boom booms. And I hear firing like I don't know where I'm at. I must be in another country, obviously, because this port obviously has security, because I hear firing towards the boat. And they may luck out by the boat exploding before it actually hits the port and explodes. So I don't know where this is. This could even be related to the Panama Canal. So lots of stuff going on around ports. So when we see this happening, again, friends, this is all the more reason that you need to stock up on things, especially things that don't come from your country, that it's imported from another place. China's stockpiling on oil. They're stockpiling on fuel, food, grains, rice. They're holding on to it. They even cut off some of their imports. So did India. So rice is a big one. That's why I just bought this thing that you put on top of mason jars, and it sucks all the air out of the mason jars. I think it's pretty darn awesome. So I just got that. So what I'm going to do, because rice can get bugs, and you got to be careful. So I'm going to take the rice and put it in big jars and seal them, suck all the air out of them. They should be good to go. I think it was only like the mason jar thing was like $15. Mason jars have gone up in price, though, quite a bit, friends. Mason jars, I think I paid, I don't know, 2 years ago, it was like $12.99 or $13.99 a case. Now they're $18.99. That's a big difference. They went up $5 in 2 years, maybe even $6. Crazy. So again, keep an eye on our ports. Let's move on to accident prone much. Are you accident prone much, friends? I hope not. But you're definitely going to want to be mindful of this right now, friends, because remember, it was over a year ago when we went through that cycle of very accident-prone energy. I think it was early last year. I lose track of time sometimes. So a similar energy just rolled in the past week. And this energy is going to intensify as we approach the full moon on the 19th of August. Speaking of which, I would expect a ton of craziness over this coming weekend. Starting Saturday, the 17th and the 18th, I would expect some major chaotic things to happen. And some things to happen, especially the 17th, that would normally affect the stock market, Spirit says. But being as it's a weekend, it won't affect the stock market like it could have, which would have been a potential crash. Numbers will go down on Monday, but again, not as bad if it was an event that happened on a weekday. So I don't know what's going down this weekend, friends, but it don't sound very good. And I don't know where. I remember Spirit also keeps showing me again visions of people trying to get money out of the ATM machines, and then I see people going to banks and trying to get to the banks and not being able to get in. Some of this is over there in Europe, especially United Kingdom, England. You're going to have problems accessing money. You better get to your ATM machines or banks before the weekend and get some cash. Make sure you have cash on hand for always. You should always have cash on hand. Even sometimes I would, I need to do this again. I forgot. I'd hide like a $50 bill in my car because sometimes I'll leave and get to town and realize I forgot my wallet. That's the worst, because then you got to drive 20 minutes all the way back to the house to get the wallet through all the tourists and traffic. So I had money in my car. I forgot to do that. I got to do that again because I used it last time because I went to town and forgot my wallet. So that's another thing that you could do too. But keep your money in a good spot where nobody's going to find it either. That's important as well. And of course, having physical things like silver, I still swear by. I'm waiting for silver to drop a little bit more, which might not for a while, especially when we get to October, November. But when that drops, man, I'll be buying me a couple 10-ounce bars. That's another thing I learned from somebody I was listening to, an expert, so to speak, that said, buying the small bullion, the coins, or I like the little triangle bullion, 1 ounce size. He says it's good for bartering and all and having a good little stash of that. He says, but when it comes to overall investment, it's better to buy big bars, like 10-ounce bars or whatever they are, 20-ounce bars. I know they have 10-ounce bars. He said that they're cheaper, there's less manufacturing, and you'll get more money for them in the long run. That's what the expert said. That's not me. I am not a financial expert. So going back to our accident-prone energy and all these things that are happening, we witnessed one disastrous incident after another when it comes to airlines. Wouldn't you agree? Constantly. I'll be flying a lot in the near future. Go back to Pennsylvania flying. Denise is going to take over my house. They all want me to go away so they can all come to my house. Isn't that funny? They all want to stay here when I'm not here. Well, I don't blame them. It's paradise. I want to go to Peru next year. I'm going back to Pennsylvania again in February. Yeah, so lots of travel ahead. And people are like, oh my God, I got to travel. Am I going to be okay? Don't be paranoid, friends. You just heard me. I'm traveling a lot. I plan on going to Peru. I hope to go to Japan this time next year, in the fall of next year. So I got lots of travel plans and lots of drive trips I want to take too. I don't like flying on aeroplanes personally. I don't like being around all these people's negative energies. And there's a lot of fear on airplanes energetically. So you got to really shield yourself and protect yourself. I did a meditation a couple weeks ago on protecting your energy. Friends, you need to do that meditation, and you need to do that meditation every single day until you become a pro at that meditation where you can just instantly keep yourself protected. Got to do that meditation. I'll try to remember to put a link up some point, but it's called Protecting Your Energy is the meditation. It's a good meditation, friends. A lot of you missed that meditation. Highly, highly recommended, especially right now when the energies are so intense. People are like, how do you deal with these energies? I flow right through it. It doesn't bother me. It doesn't bother me at all, thankfully. It used to when I was younger, but now these energies, I take advantage of them. I'm decluttering my house, clearing things up, reorganizing, take advantage of it, friends. I donated. I got 2 big bags of clothes in my car to donate. I don't know where to donate them yet because Sedona's small. I have never seen a drop box anywhere. I'm sure there's one somewhere, though. Salvation Army, one of those places. So going back to aeroplanes, don't be afraid to fly, friends. Just always know you're safe and you'll be fine. Always keep yourself shielded and you will manifest that. And if something were to happen on the plane you were going to get on and you are protected and you are positive vibration frequency, something will happen and you won't get on that plane. It's fate. It's, you create your future. So don't worry about it. Know you're going to have a great flight. I know I'm going to have a great flight. Every flight I take, going to be awesome. No delays. It's going to all flow perfectly with ease and joy. And it will, because I hold that intention way before I even get on the plane. Months before I even get on the plane, I'm holding that vision. So going back to tragedies in the sky, a tragedy that played out over this past week was a vision I had of a plane dropping out of the sky. When I saw that vision, it looked as crazy as it sounded when I told you all about it. Because planes just don't drop from the sky like free fall. Well, this plane dropped from the sky free fall in Brazil. And I'm not sure what they're saying happened here. Because planes just don't fall from the skies, friends. Just not like that. Nope. Just doesn't happen. So I'm really wondering what they're trying to tell us happened here. I don't think they told us anything yet. But definitely technical. Definitely something technical happened. Wouldn't at all surprise me that there was sabotage and cyber attack. I mean, just feels right to me, actually. And apparently, there's a lot of talk about who was on the plane, and that's another email somebody sent to my email. Again, don't email me, just leave it in the comments down below, that there were 8 doctors aboard and so forth and so forth. And I haven't really delved down that rabbit hole. Didn't really have a feel to do so. And I really don't know. All I know is that it feels like sabotage to me. 100%. That's what I do know. So yeah, maybe there was somebody important on the airline. That would not surprise me. They do that. That's one of their things. That's what they want to do to Donald Trump now. The aeroplane, blame it on technical issues. Then it don't look so much like somebody being taken out completely, right? And remember, Spirit told us to pay attention to the skies and to sky events, including more incidents and accidents with planes, helicopters, aeroplanes, and on the roads. So be aware on the roads, friends. Be aware on the roads. I'd say a massive pile up, Spirit's showing me. I think I'm somewhere outside of Chicago or in Chicago. Massive pile up and back up like nothing I've never seen before. Wonder what that's from. Spirit's also showing me a pile up that occurs on the roads because of smoke. Like smoke goes across the road from a fire or wildfire. And this causes a big pile up after a truck is the first one that caused the accident. Interesting. I don't know where this is. Probably California. Spirit's showing me that now. So it's always good when Spirit show us stuff live. So let's move on to the weather, because that's a big topic right now, because Earth activity was up, but then it was down, and then I expect to go back up again very, very soon, just as Spirit told us it would. And one of the places I pointed to on the map in my last weather prediction video was the southern point of Japan. And Japan was shaking, very, very much so shaken, right at that southern point where I pointed, right where Spirit told us. And that was only not even 3 weeks ago that Spirit told us that. And I think I might have even brought it up again on one of the past Tuesday's episodes. We also, Spirit says, we haven't seen nothing yet, because there's another big shaking. Big shaking to Japan. We also saw this in Los Angeles, California. And I know they get a lot of earthquakes in California. They're used to it. But as I said earlier, when the media talks about it and throws it out, they make a big deal out of it. So it's a bigger deal than usual. Especially, it was quite a shaking. It was only a 4.4, but I guess it was shallow and caused quite a lot of stuff to shake. Nowhere near as bad as what's coming, Spirit says. Between Los Angeles and San Diego, or San Francisco and San Diego. But San Francisco, that whole line, if we draw a line between the two. And then also from Northern California all the way up to Vancouver Island. 2 places that I pointed to in my weather prediction. So again, go back to those weather predictions if you want to know exactly where I pointed to and what I said. I did the map scrying, channeling, and other predictions all in that one video. Russia also had a huge shaking. I forget what their shaking was. I don't think I have it open on this computer. I do not. But it was pretty big. It was in the red on the earthquake map. And when you look at the earthquake map, if it's in red, it's big. Like, it causes damage when it's in the red. or causes stuff to fall off the shelves, at least when it's in the red. So looking today at the earthquake map, when I look at the earthquake map, I always select the feature 4.5 quakes or higher over the past 7 days. That's always how I keep my settings. Otherwise, reporting all of them, there's too many. There's little earthquakes constantly, hundreds and hundreds every day. I want to look at the 4.5s or higher. And about a week ago, around a week and a half ago, there was it was like 70s, which is low, and that's about normal. And then it went up to about 91 last week. Remember, I talked about it. I said we're up to 91. When we're in a huge uptick, it's in the hundreds, 120, 110. We haven't gotten there yet. That's coming, likely within just the next week. Because now today when I looked at it, it's back down to 80-something. And I was like, wow, that's kind of low. That's not an uptick. It went up and down. So I expected to go up big time, especially what we see in Los Angeles and what we're seeing over there in Japan. And not even just that. Check this out. The scenes coming out of China, not that this is earthquake related, but it's still related to the weather and earth events. The scenes coming out of China, a place that, again, Spirit continuously warned, are of apocalyptic proportion, with massive floods, cars washed into the roads, and just complete disaster. Oklahoma City was another. Oklahoma City, Spirit warned a while ago and channeled predictions of a huge shaking coming to Oklahoma City. Now, that wouldn't be simple floods. That's not a huge shaking. So I don't know what that is. But they were dealing with floods in other places. San Diego, South Carolina, upstate New York, another place I warned extensively. East Africa, South Africa, Cape Town, and the list just goes on and on. If you recall, Spirit pointed to this exact period of time in August where we would see a lot of water-related events. Water. So that's what we're seeing, all these floods and such. This is why I expect there to be a tsunami in the near future. Because if water is a big focus and we're seeing all the floods, now we're starting to see a few large earthquakes. Not great, but still large. I expect a tsunami to come in the near future. The ones I've seen in my past visions. Especially when we move into the month of September. Tropical storm warnings were just issued for Puerto Rico. Another place that Spirit warned in weather predictions. Hurricane season is about to go into overdrive, friends. I mean, we're just only in, not even the middle, or maybe we're in the middle of it, maybe, just about. So this is when it really starts to intensify, especially when we get into the month of September and October. It's going to be interesting. In my weather predictions, going back to February, the first ones I did for 2024, and then again, I did one about 2 or 3 weeks ago. I warned the entire Gulf Coast of North America, United States, the whole Gulf Coast. One hurricane I had a vision of this morning that covers the entire Texas, all Texas, just engulfed in this huge, gigantic storm. I also, as I warned before in past predictions, I see problems for Louisiana, but I also see evacuations happening in Louisiana. And a warning to our friends in New Orleans as well. And, of course, more hits are coming to Florida and the Carolinas. And New York. Don't forget New York. Spirit just yelled, don't forget New York. Because when did that was in I did channeled predictions last week. I think it was in those predictions. And a lot of you missed that video. I was actually quite surprised. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was that video where I saw major hits directly to New York City. Like something coming right in, kind of like Hurricane Sandy did to New Jersey, but up a little higher, hitting New York City. If it's not a hurricane, it's sure as big as one. Tropical storm, something like that. And it's gonna be September and October where we're gonna see the largest storm systems forming, bringing about record amount of tornadoes to the Midwest, with tornadoes being reported in the most unlikely places. Also, watch closely for the date October 11th. That's what Spirit said today. I also see Japan is in for a very, very big rough patch. Economic stresses. I see some type of change of power coming to Japan. taking place, a change of power. It is potentially possible that their current chief in charge is taken out in some form or another, or conveniently passes away. Conveniently for the globalists, that would be. But I see some kind of change of power coming in Japan. And in past channeled predictions, I believe it was, I stated that I saw humanitarian aid. And I said this in November of last year. I saw humanitarian aid moving into Japan to assist after a huge disaster. But also, I saw the same thing for the west coast of the United States and even part of Canada as well. So I see a much larger quake that's going to hit near and in Japan both. And it's going to be the aftershock, Spirit said, that's going to be 3 to 10 times worse than the initial shaking. Beware. Take tsunami warnings very serious in Japan, for big waves will be a huge reminder of what occurred there on March 11th, 2011. So hold on tight, our friends in Japan. We're also going to see major cyclones, like the vision of a cyclone I saw hitting Tokyo, Japan. Remember, I saw the streets of Tokyo completely flooded out completely. And I feel like floods are hitting followed by earthquake. So I feel like they're getting hit repetitively. Like first, something with the floods, then the economy, then the earthquake, then the tsunami. I just feel like one hit after another for our friends in Japan. And some of this feels like it could be very, very potentially happening in the month of October. That could also be what my October 11th date is. On October 11th, 2024, a major earthquake hits Japan, followed by a tsunami. So that's a very strong potential for October 11th. And I don't usually go with specific dates for specific things, but that's a feeling. And I always tell you what I'm feeling, friends. Always tell you what I'm feeling. Massive China earthquake is coming, like massive, like 8.0 massive earthquake in China. And then also a massive earthquake coming in India, near Delhi. Yeah, somewhere near there. It's all Spirit just told me just now in my little ears. In other news, the Olympics have concluded. The U.S. won more gold medals than any other country. You go, USA. And thankfully, there were no other incidents or attacks in Paris. At least I didn't hear about any. And Spirit told us there'd be attacks during the Olympics, or in August, in August. And before I even knew the Olympics were going to be there. And we did see that. We saw pretty mild, thankfully. But is there something more to come, friends? Is there something more to come to Paris? Oh, yeah, no doubt about it. Spirit shows me that these big attacks that I saw, big attacks in Paris, are still on the timeline. So, unfortunately, yeah, they're still going to happen. Remember, I saw a Pow event happening on the streets. I saw the vision of the outside cafe with people sitting on the street. That happened before many years ago because Spirits reminded me of that. I see it happening again. And I see multiple groups taken to the streets. I see that happening in the United States as well, friends. I hate to say it, but we all know it's coming. We feel it. Excuse me. Love my tea, baby. Moving right along. So when France comes to in defense of Israel, Spirit told me today, and against Iran, in some abrupt move, I don't know what this move is, but Spirit says when France comes in defense of Israel and against Iran in some abrupt move, it will make Paris and all of France extremely vulnerable to attacks from within as sleeper cells are activated. That would be the pals on the streets, sleeper cells. I feel this activation of cells, as I stated in the past, would activate in multiple countries, including the United States. I feel like all at the same time, like they're launching this big thing all at once. So when will this occur? Placing an exact time on things is extremely challenging, friends, as you know. We can look through, the time windows of possibility here. The time windows of possibility. So there is a lot of craziness in August, of course. But more so October, because we have October, we have the eclipses happening September 17th, and then another one on October 2nd. So that window of time is very important. September 17th, we have that first eclipse. Well, really the third one of this year. And then right after that, we have the equinox. Everything always shifts on equinox, friends. Always. Equinoxes and solstices, as you know. Big things happen around those time periods. Look at, last year we saw what happened in Israel in October. I forget, was that the 7th, I believe it was the date? So the equinox falls right in between that window. So we always see, again, major events happening during equinox season. And this equinox, I would tell you to expect major floods, major earthquakes, and sadly, new conflicts breaking out. That would be potentially the time that something like that happens. And if it's not October, the next window is November, right after the elections. And that would make even more sense, actually. November. Remember, the darkness follows the light, or the light follows the darkness. First the darkness, then the light. The eclipses is what I'm referring to. Intense times. And I'm going to tell you a little bit more about that in my predictions, because I have a list of other predictions for you today. So lastly, again, we have a big shift coming right after the U.S. elections. But did I tell you the dates were? The 7th of November? Or wait, let me go back. I'm going to pull it up right now and tell you. I don't know if I told you already. Maybe I did, but we'll repeat. It's good to know these timelines. Very, very important. It is on November 7th. Yeah, I was right. November 7th. We go into the final pre-shadow Mercury retrograde energy shift cycle. Go in the pre-shadow on the 7th of November. We go direct on the 25th of November until December 14th, and we're in it till the very end of the year. So the post-shadow. So intense energy. So that's another big time for big events to occur. I mean, like, no doubt about it. No doubt about it, friends. Did you see the fires over there in Athens, Greece? Oh, my Lord. Prayers to our friends in Greece. It almost looks apocalyptic. You can see, the ruins up on the hill in Greece and the orange. It's just kind of creepy. And they got their hands full with stuff coming too. Because these fires will be followed by great floods, Spirit's telling me now. In Greece, the current fires, wildfires, will be followed by major floods. Major floods. Also keep an eye out for a big earthquake that happens, Spirit says, in the nearby sea. That also can potentially bring big waves to your shorelines. So I'm feeling like we could have 3 potential in a row tsunamis, like in different parts of the world. Crazy. Speaking of crazy, Russia, that's a little crazy. Huge attacks are coming to Moscow, according to my spirits, and other cities within Russia. This is going to drive Putin to the point of madness. As you just saw, Ukraine moving into Russia and all that happening. Oh, let me tell you, he's on fire right now. He's on fire, but now it's going to take him to the point of madness when these attacks come on another concert hall and an attack on the streets of Moscow. Putin's anger is going to cause him to retaliate on a massive scale. He surprises Ukraine and Ukraine allies with a new move, a new weapon, in turn winning the conflict and ending it, as Spirit told us back in January of this year in my 2024 world predictions that it would come to an end. And when it did, Russia would possess new land and territory. And I said that years ago when it all started. We even did a card reading on it and said the same thing. It's that new weapon that kind of creeps me out a bit, though. I don't know what it is, but it's creepy. There was an ambulance at the White House, and someone put that in my comments, and then some other ignorant person came along and says, no, I love people that think they know everything. Goes right in and says, no, that didn't happen. Actually, it did happen. You're wrong, dude. Or chick, or whoever you are. And it was because there was a threat. They found a device around the White House, some kind of device, and they sent ambulances and police and everything else there. It wasn't anything to do with my vision. My vision was somebody being taken out of the White House in an ambulance. Totally different. But yeah, there were ambulances and police at the White House. That definitely did happen. So Moving right along to some predictions, friends, starting with Thanksgiving. Christmas and the entire month of December jumps out very strongly. Just as the month of August did, and we're only halfway through August, not even halfway through August quite yet. And October jumps out this whole window, this last quarter of the year. But especially the holidays. Why December, though? Why December? Well, there are a few good reasons why December. Think about this. For starters, we enter the final Mercury retrograde that I just told you, beginning on November 7th in Sagittarius, and then going direct on November 25th through December 14th. And I forgot to look at when Thanksgiving was. It's probably before the 25th, I would imagine. Well, this calendar doesn't tell me. Oh, it is on the 28th. Oh, it's the very end of November this year. Thanksgiving here in America. Yeah, another joke. They lie about everything, you know. Nothing is as it appears to be, says the spirits. Nothing that you thought is as is. Direct, yo. So the direct November 25th through December 14th, and the Thanksgiving holiday falls right in between that, right after we go direct. But the entire cycle not ending till New Year's Eve, which is bound to make the whole year go out with a global shaking and shakedowns. I see huge issues rising between Japan and China. Multiple issues, beginning with issues with imports, exports, issues at one of Japan's ports, and other tensions rise between China and Japan. Japan's also going to endure issues with North Korea. And I saw visions of the Japanese military all gathering together and getting on their aeroplanes, their fighter jets. I don't know if this is a drill. It didn't look like a drill to me, and I don't know what's going on, but I saw this panic with their military, and I feel like I have deja vu, so I likely said this before in the past, but Spirit reminded me. Spirits also reminded me of conflict that's coming between North and South Korea. Big problems on that whole little area, that little piece of land, that little continent there. It's not a continent, but you know what I'm talking about. That whole North and South Korea, that little piece of land. Lots of conflict coming there. Lots of conflict. Kim Jong-un's losing his mind. I thought he did already, spirits. No, it's getting worse, says the spirits. Well, thanks, spirits. Gotta love the spirits, right? So it was about a year. It was last year when I had a vision of two planes coming over the waters, like many planes, like hundreds of planes coming across the waters in large numbers. Remember that vision? I think that might have been even 2 years ago. Again, I lose track of times, but the vision was, I see this vision of all these military fighter jets all gathering and coming across the waters in large numbers. I mean, like hundreds of them, to attack a country in the late night, early morning hours. So I'd say between 3 and 5 a.m. in the morning. Thankfully, we have not yet seen this past vision come into reality, but I still feel like it's coming more now than ever in one fashion or another. Maybe multiple fashions, actually. As much as many may believe it won't happen, I feel, as I've said before, it is an invasion of Taiwan by air. But I also feel some other type of surprise invasion is coming. And Spirit says to watch China closely. As Spirit says, they are getting desperate. I don't know why or what reasons, but they are getting desperate. And remember also, last year Spirit told us that China was going to attempt to pull off a double attack of some sort. And I remember people in the comments saying that would be a bad strategic military move. You wouldn't want to attack two places at once. But you're probably right. I don't know nothing about military. Don't really care to know either. But that makes sense. It's logical. But China's not very logical. And maybe they have something better up their sleeves. Remember with the ports. But I feel like multiple attacks coming from China. They're going to hit two places at once. November just popped in my brain, so this could be happening where in November 2024, China invades Taiwan. Let's hope that doesn't happen. All over those computer chips and more power and control. Eventually, Spirit just said, eventually China's going to fall apart, just like United States, in the aspect that it breaks apart into different unions or different states. They separate, like so in the United States, states are going to separate from the union. Remember, I saw star falling off the American flag, so it's going to start with one, and then eventually it'll continue. The same thing's going to happen to China, Spirit said. The whole world's going to be broken up in a different way. That's more of a positive vibration in the long run. I don't know what that means, but we'll see when time comes. I would think by 2030, we're going to have a really good idea where everything is, because that, 2025 to 2032, Spirit told me years ago, was going to be the most intense times on the planet Earth ever. And 2025 is right around the corner, friends. Remember, I deemed it as tribulation because it's 7 years, that period. And, it starts next year as a 9 year of endings. 2032 is the 7 year. 7 years from that point to that point. It just sounds like 7 years of tribulation to me. I could be wrong. Some people are like, we're in tribulation already. Well, you can believe what you want. I believe what I want to believe. And I feel what the spirits tell me. The spirits didn't tell me. They just told me that time period. They didn't call it tribulation. They just said the toughest time on the earth ever for humanity. So that sounds kind of like tribulation to me. And we'll see. It's right around the corner. We see where the world's going right now. So watch China closely again, Spirit says. Watch October and also watch January, Spirit said, when it comes to China and double attacks. And I feel that New Year's will sadly start off with an invasion. Isn't that what happened with, didn't Russia invade Ukraine in New Year's, or was that February? I think maybe that was February. But still right into the new year, but I'm thinking like right on New Year's, like January 3rd or 4th, somebody invades somebody right at the top of the new year. And it could be when China invades Taiwan. It could be January. It's potentially possible. So is October or November, even more so, because the United States is going to be overwhelmed with the election and these crazy people in our streets doing stupid, less than smart stuff. That's bound to happen one way or another, no matter who wins. And as far as who wins, I'm telling you all the time. I used to once upon a time be a Democrat for a long time. Then I switched to Republican. And then I switched to independent. So that's about where I stand. Because it just seems, even though they have different views between, say, Trump and Harris or what have you, the Democrats, Republicans, it's still just, to me, one big old party. One big old uniparty. I'd rather go independent. That's what we need. Somebody that's not plugged into all that. Not that option's there right now. But, it is what it is. It's all, to me, all pre-orchestrated anyway. All pre-orchestrated. It's going to be interesting to see how things play out, though. It's going to be very, very interesting. And again, Spirit said that light would be lit in one of those candidates. All of them, if they're willing, that purple flame of Saint Germain. And as soon as we were told that, then we saw the attempt on DT's life. So interesting, right? Interesting times we are in. Speaking of attempts on people's lives. Oh, the other thing I left out of here with New Year's, and as soon as the new year kicks in, the invasion, this could also be United States conducting some type of an air invasion somewhere as well, with help from the Canadians. Spirit just said. Joel Osteen, I've talked about him a few times, but he came to mind. And believe me, I did not want him to come to my mind. It was a very unfortunate vision, to say the least. Didn't want to see that face, because what I saw in my vision, not sure why, was just his face with that fake, goofy smile that he has, because it is fake. And I just saw a vision of him with that this smile is very fake in the vision I had. Very fake. Most of them are, if not all. Probably extorting more money from some poor old lady. I can't imagine why Spirit would want me only to see a vision with that fake smile. And that's how I took it. I took it as a fake smile. So perhaps Spirit is showing us that, and this is how I took it, that some truth is going to be revealed around Joel Osteen in his church, I guess you could call it. Remember also, my prediction revolved around an assassination of a religious leader. Remember, like Martin Luther King. Remember, Spirit showed me that vision, showed me it was similar in the aspect of a religious leader being taken out. And then I thought maybe Joel Osteen, because he had that pow-pow event that happened at one of his churches at one of his Sunday masses. Masses, that's the word I was looking for. Do they even call it mass in his church? Because mass is Catholic church. Regardless, doesn't matter. I just saw him with that goofy fake smile, and I took it as some kind of truth being revealed around him. And again, Spirit did mention and remind me of somebody being taken out, a religious leader being taken out. And of course, this could also be the Pope, but at the same time, we don't really see the Pope very much. They got him kind of hidden away because he's not well. So I doubt it's the Pope, and it might not be Joel Osteen either, but some kind of truth is coming out around Joel Osteen in his church. Hopefully corruption's coming out. Because, I don't know, in my opinion, they should pay taxes just like the rest of us. Like, you are a multi-millionaire getting money from people, and you should have to pay taxes on that. Sorry. Like, you don't because the way you do it, but I just think that's whole wrong. I think it's wrong. The thing is right. That's going to change, Spirit said. That's going to change. They're going to start taxing churches. Interesting. Churches will still hide the money anyway. I'm sure. At least the Catholic Church will. But that, again, the whole Pope thing, as I said, I feel like the Pope's reign is coming to a close. It could be multiple. I don't know what Spirit just reminded me. Remember I heard a pow at the Vatican? I was outside. I forgot all about this. Spirit's reminded me of this. This was a while ago, over a year ago, I think. And we were outside the Vatican, and it was like, you know, where the Pope would get up and speak, and I heard a pow. And that's all I remember about that. I forgot all about that. Spirit just reminded me. So maybe it is the Pope. The date October 2nd keeps jumping out at me very, very strongly, but I was not quite clear why. So I looked at the calendar, and I looked a little deeper. And not only is October 2nd the new moon, but it is also the eclipse that's coming in. Not only is it the eclipse and the new moon, but it is also the first day of Rosh Hashanah, a Jewish holiday, if you didn't know already. I believe October 2nd is going to be another date written in history when it comes to Israel and the Middle East. I don't know how and which form, we can only assume. But I feel like that date's going to go down in infinity, October 2nd, 2024. I also see a vision of troops moving in from all directions to surround Israel. This is a plan Spirit showed me being hatched as we speak right now, as these radical Muslim nations are coming together secretly to plan a group attack on Israel. But when could this actually occur? Obviously, it could occur anytime at all. And will do, when it does occur, it's going to occur very, very unexpectedly. Nobody's going to see it coming. So people are expecting that now. So it's not going to happen now. When it's going to happen is a very challenging question. Okay, that's where I was going to go. That's not where I was going to go because I just totally lost my line in my brain. So I don't know when it's going to happen. Again, Spirit says very unexpectedly. So if it's unexpectedly and we expect, you know, they're expecting it. They tell you in the media, oh, Israel's expecting Iran to retaliate. They're going to do so in a very unexpected way. So my October 2nd feelings, maybe October 2nd, it could be occurring where they're surrounded. I see different troops coming in from different directions surrounding Israel. At the same time, this could also occur right around between Hanukkah and Christmas. That would make even more sense to me. Because, you know, they want to abolish Jesus, for starters, in Christianity, but they also want to abolish the Jewish people as well. So what a better time to do it during a holiday that they celebrate or that we celebrate, Christmas, Hanukkah, or what have you. So that is a time that feels potentially rocky to me, very, very rocky. But more likely, I feel like really this is going to occur in 2025. I don't feel like it's happening this year. I could be wrong. Again, it's happening. I just don't know when. And I'm going to go with 2025 because 2025, we enter into that 9 vibration. The 9 vibration is all about endings and getting rid of. 9 vibration always comes with a whole window of souls that exit the earth plane in large numbers. And I've been saying this for a while. There's going to be a large mass exodus that happens. And that's not exodus of rapture. That's people, you know, soul contracts coming to an end and passing away from all different types of reasons. We're going to see a lot of that in 2025, friends. A lot of it. Putin is strongly considering using a new secret weapon. And my feelings is that something, when he does, it's something we don't want to witness at all. And I talked about this earlier, but it's in my notes again for whatever reason. It's coming. I said that in the past with him too, using some kind of weapon. Oh, but now Spirit's saying Ukraine's going to use some type of chemical, biological weapon on Russians as they are invading Russian territory. Of course, they're going to lie about it and tell you that it was Russia, but really it's Ukraine, so beware. Spirit just told me that just now. On another level, I see a train derailment, friends, and it reminds me of the train derailment that happened maybe about 10 years ago, maybe even longer than that in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. It might have been about 13 years ago, 14 years ago. But I remember that very clearly because I lived right nearby. Well, not nearby, but I lived right outside of Philadelphia. This derailment that I had in visions this morning closely resembled to me what happened in Philadelphia years back. Except this feels like it may be actually in Europe and not in the United States. It was a passenger train with people on it. Spirit says there could be actually two separate. One here in the United States, a passenger train derails, but also over there in Europe. I'm also reminded of my two past visions of train explosions occurring. Approximately, remember I saw explosives being put on the third train from the rear, so the fourth car in from the rear, the rear car, and then three more in, so 4 cars in, was my estimated proximity of seeing this in my vision. Exploding, Spirit reminded me of that today. But also today I saw it even clearer. Remember I said someone was going to sabotage the train tracks? Well, today I saw exactly how. They're literally going in there with some kind of, I guess, saw and sawing away part of the track. Like literally going in and cutting part of the track away. That's crazy to me. I mean, I would imagine that'd be really hard to do. You'd have to have a welder maybe? I don't know. I don't know how you would cut through that. I mean, that's solid steel tracks. I'm sure there's a way because they're doing it. In my vision, I see them cutting away part of the tracks. In turn, it causes the train car to plunge off the left side. I saw, like I was on the train, and I plunged to the left side. Left side, there was a bridge up ahead. I went down a hill and partially into water. Crazy. And that feels like Europe to me as well. Perhaps somewhere connected between Poland and Germany. I also see some type of sabotage attack on a nuclear power plant. Perhaps multiple attempts to attack nuclear power plants. I see this actually occurring in the United States and then also in Russia. One of these is going to be a disaster in the aspect of having to evacuate folks from the area. I do feel, however, that folks are able to move back to their homes shortly after. So it'll be temporary, so if this happens and you're near the plant and they evacuate, that you'll be able to go back, especially here in the United States. Many attacks on grids. Lordy, lordy. It's all going to happen at once, Spirit said, so prepare. That's why we tell you to stock up and be prepared and stay in your house in that short time of chaos. So remember, it's a short time of chaos. Has to happen, and then things get cleaned up. More assassinations are coming. One in Venezuela, probably because they're in chaos right now. I see another attempt in Japan. And of course, an attempt on Donald Trump again, but also on Harris. I see an attempt on Harris. I also saw one of these leaders, I don't know who, being shot. Someone just literally comes running out with a pow-pow, and I hear 3 shots fired. Boom, boom, boom. And 2 hit the person. And I feel like this is a man. 2 hit the person. The third one might be somebody taking out the person with the pow-pow, maybe. But I hear 3, pow, pow, pow. See the person taken down. See the other person grab themselves and fall to the ground. So I don't know where I'm at all. But I do see this occurring very, very clearly. And lastly, Spirit says a false flag is coming. Several, actually, so be prepared. flag that flies ever so falsely, blaming Iran in a way to attempt to go after Iran directly. This will be a combination between both Europe, probably France, United States, and Israel. Interesting. Interesting times are upon us, my beautiful friends. And today I'm going to leave you with that because I can't believe how late it is. And I got to hurry up and get this put together, edited, and uploaded, and I'm already running late. Darn. Better late than never. That's what I say. It's Mercury retrograde. Of course we're running late. I'm on my own spiritual time anyway. Time is just an illusion, friends. Friends, I almost totally forgot. I don't know why it's not in my notes. I thought it was. I want to make sure I didn't skip it or did miss it. Going back to October 2nd, and a very puzzling prediction. Very puzzling. For some strange reason, again, that date, October 2nd, has been coming to me for the past week. So I looked at those dates and I told you what was happening on those dates. And it keeps repeating in my mind. I don't know if this is connected. Probably not. But it could be. So going back to past visions, remember I warned about Taylor Swift concerts, and Taylor Swift just canceled concerts due to fear attacks that were being planned directly at her concerts. Well, they're being planned at other concerts too. And not just in other countries, right here in the United States of America, friends. So one of my friends has some amazing dreams. We've interpreted his dreams before, and a lot of his dreams align with my predictions. Past predictions and so forth. So some of my past predictions were that there was going to be a huge attack at a sports arena. And then I saw attacks happening at concerts. Now I saw that last year. And remember, I saw an attack at an outdoor festival that ended up happening in Israel right after I said it within a month, which was bizarre. And then Spirit said there'd be other attacks at music festivals. Then we saw what happened in Russia. And then Spirit said there'd be more, including in other places throughout Europe and United States. That's why we thought the Olympics could have been a place, because I saw something happening and playing out around the sports arena. I saw explosives being placed in trash cans around the sports arena on the outside. Wasn't sure about the inside. That was one of them, and I thought that would likely probably be a soccer game and maybe over there in Brazil. At the same time, my friend's dream, not to go into complete detail, but long story and long dream short, his dream was that of two flags, two American flags, hanging up. I wish I had my notes with me of his. Actually, let me try to pull them up. And in the dream, he believes it was him and his wife, but he wasn't completely sure on the other person. But we'll say likely his wife. And we're talking about somebody military background here. And they were folding up the flag. As we folded it, it disappeared and became a quilt, like a piece of fabric, with the picture of the flag on it, like the memory or like a memorial. So that was part of the dream. And when he was folding the flag, it had to be folded correctly in a military style. So then I went and did some research to find out where there could potentially be two flags that fly. Because we don't see two American flags fly anywhere. And if anybody has a clue to anywhere else other than what I'm about to tell you, please do let us know in the comments and follow that up with a picture so that we know that that's for real. Because I found not only the picture, but also the place where apparently is the only place in the United States that does fly American flag twice in the same spot. And that is in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, at the Citizens Bank Park, Citizens Bank Center, where the Philadelphia Phillies play. Two flags fly there. Apparently, from what I read, the one was supposed to be for Canada. I don't know why Canada, but the Phillies decided to put two American flags up there instead. And that's why they fly two American flags there, but it's the only place that I could find. And that would make sense because both my friend and I are from Philly area. Both live out here now. So kind of interesting. This is the conclusion I have come to, that there is a potential attack coming to the Citizens Bank Park Center in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. During a Phillies game, I don't think so. Because when I went and looked at the Citizens Bank Park, the next big upcoming event that's happening there, other than Phillies baseball, is at the Bruce Springsteen concert. Born in the USA. Corny. That song's so... I'm not a fan of Springsteen. Sorry, but just not a fan. I only like one song of his, Santa Claus is Coming to Town. And that's it. The only one. And only because I grew up listening to that song when I was younger. Other than that, nope. Not a fan. But he's doing a big concert. And that stadium is pretty huge. And think about it. When these people that do these fear attacks do them, there's always a theme, you know? Like, look what happened in 2001 in American Airlines, attack on America. Well, Citizens Bank, an attack on citizens. Born in the USA, Bruce Springsteen. So I hope that I'm completely incorrect, which I may likely be. This is just putting together pieces of my past predictions, my friend's dream, which is really no coincidence there. And the only place that two flags fly in the United States that I could come up with is Citizens Bank Park in Philadelphia, PA. Not only that, Philadelphia, PA is where the Constitution was written. Gettysburg, PA is where the Civil War was fought. So all these things are playing a big part. Not only that, all these astrological alignments that are happening and have happened and coming up soon, all aligned during that same time period. The signing of the Constitution, the Civil War, Gettysburg, all of it. So I'm going to say, yeah, something's going to play out in Philadelphia. Something's going to play out in Philadelphia with a fear-type attack. It's probably where one of the sleeper cells are. And it's a very strong potential that there could be some type of an attack or something else, maybe even a stampede that occurs at the Citizens Bank Center in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, perhaps even during a Bruce Springsteen concert, which is coming up on August 21st and August 23rd. I found it interesting the 22nd, that 22 day, there's no concert. That's a good thing. So that makes it even less potential that this will actually happen. So we hold in light Philadelphia Citizens Bank Park. If you're going, go and have fun. Just be mindful of your surroundings. That's all. If you're meant to be there, you're there. Just go and have a good time, friends. Other than that, I very much hope that you enjoyed hanging out with me and having some tea for Tittle's Teatime Tuesday. Too many T's. Tittle's Teatime Tuesday prediction update. Taco Tuesday, Tittle Tuesday, Teatime Tuesday. We've got lots of teas going on Tuesdays, friends. Thank you so much for showing your love by clicking that thumbs up love button, sharing this on your social media, and letting your friends know where they can find the most accurate predictions. And if you are new here and you just smash that subscribe button, we welcome you to the tribe, baby. You will not be disappointed when it comes to the accurate predictions, information, truth, and prophecy that I put out on this channel. And a huge, giant, big spiritual virtual hug goes out to all my members of the platforms, the Subscribe Star Awaken Your Spirit platform, the contributions that come in, whether it's through Chat Cash, the links down below in the description. I couldn't do this without you, and I am so grateful for the love and support that I get from all of you. Again, big virtual hugs, everybody. Big virtual hugs. I thank you with infinite love and gratitude. Until the next time, beautiful friends, remember to be kind to others as you wish others be kind to you. Celebrate life and celebrate you. Most importantly, remember to be bold, be true, be kind. Be you, let your light shine, and have a beautiful rest of your day. I will see you in the future. I just saw it in my crystal ball. I will definitely see you in the future. Much love, friends. Much love.